Yay! Here go the bikers. your dress was caught in the door.
I see you showing wool over the neck. Okay, boys. Yeah. I did.
Someone got your seat. Someone got your seat.
Wasting the camera.
I'm not wasting it.
My father, we live there.
I know, I see that. That looks very good. Did you get it over here?
You want some? Do you want it?
Huh?
Do you want it?
No, I already ate. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not. He shouldn't be eating it.
Looks great. I'll come back for
Not
dinner
healthy.
someday. All right, be healthy, be safe, okay?
Say hello to Clayton. He's doing his job. By the virus that comes by day. By the virus that comes by night. Look at that. I know, I got a lot of them. I guess if we gave it to the cop, it would be bribing him, huh? Hey, Ralton, I'm Paula, Gloria, Barton.
How are you?
Good. Thank you for letting Joe Elmo use the guitar.
No problem. Yeah, I'm trying to get it back. It's on brick combo. I'm trying to get to that pure sound. I don't know what I did wrong.
He opens a lot of my shows on the radio.
Oh, awesome.
It's really nice of you.
Yeah.
We want to do social coming together.
I'm sorry?
Social people coming together.
Yeah.
Red house over yonder. It's where my baby lives.
That's appropriate. That's the name of the guitar. Her name.
It's a red house over yonder. That's where my baby stays. I got a bad, bad feeling. My baby won't live here no more. Wait a minute, something's wrong. Lord, it's keeping on going. Wait a minute, something's wrong. Lord, it's keeping on going. Not in the one half days. I think I got my back over yonder somewhere. Maybe not yonder. What the hell? Lord, I think I got my back over yonder. Way back yonder. What the hell? I got a bad, bad feeling. But baby, don't leave me alone.
Nice, man. Nice. Nice.
Thank you, man. I like that. I get used to the feel, but it sounds sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks you too. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No, no
Thank you
problem.
both.
What's your name again?
Ralton.
Ralton. And
I'm Seabass.
Seabass. Thank you.
Nice groove.
How you doing?
Good.
Good? We're just here. We got a complaint about people not social distancing and wearing
Who's
their
the
masks.
complaint from?
I don't know who it's from.
Well, if
Just
it's not from anybody, we'll
just
ignore it.
my dispatch dispatched me here for that. So I
Okay.
just want to advise everybody of that.
Thanks for the
complaint.
advice.
Okay?
And say hello to Clayton. Chief Clayton. He said they got a complaint and they're giving advice that people aren't social distancing.
Oh. So we just want
Well, it's hard to know exactly what 6 feet is.
Thank you.
Or even why that came about.
And then, like metric, it's less than 2 meters.
We'll just let you know, okay?
They don't have TV.
Somebody complained.
I met a guy who doesn't have TV. He's like, I have no idea.
Thank you, officer.
No problem. Have a good day.
You too.
Nice group.
So, Veronica, you were saying that after this self-containment that you think joy is far away, but that there's other steps? I'm just thinking maybe joy is closer than we think, but I liked the idea of other steps too.
I think the real issue is that there is a deep impression being created on our souls for, since Friday, March 13th, when I know our Ulster County schools it was announced that they would be closed. And so since then,
And you're a school teacher.
I run a nursery program, a nursery school out of my home, and I closed it. And all of the children are home now, just like the other schools. The parents are very stressed because they've had to give up work or try to work with their young children at home, and it's really pretty impossible. I mean, having a young child myself at home, I am thankful that I don't have another job right now that I can be doing online, because it would not work out well for my child or for me. It would just be incredibly stressful. And so it brings up a lot of basic concepts that we don't really talk about a lot in our society, one of which is that raising children really is a full-time job. It's really a job that if you want to do it well, and why wouldn't you? That you need to put a lot of care and time and energy into. And I remember when I was in college, I wrote a paper about women in the Western world. Anyway, that's what I studied. Women in Western countries get paid about 1/3 get paid for approximately 1/3 of the work they do, as opposed to men who get paid for approximately 2/3 of the work they do. So this unpaid work is cooking, cleaning, taking care of the children, household chores, and even scheduling. So now, in our society, we've given a lot of that to to schools, nursery schools, daycare centers, elementary schools, high schools even. But we've given, part of our responsibility for the children over to other people, and hopefully they're very competent. I would hope that the parents in my program trusted me. I certainly tried my best, to do my best by the children in my program. But now so many working parents are realizing how much work it is to take care of your children. And I think for the young child, they actually really like being at home with their parents. The pace is slowed down, their parents are there, and as long as their parents are able to manage their workload, that they can still give them attention and tend to their needs, both physical and emotional, then I think that the young children are okay with this. But what the lasting effects that I'm concerned about are the impressions that we receive when we go to the grocery store, for instance, and we see everybody wearing a mask. It makes such an impression on you, and at least it has for me, and I can imagine for other people it has as well, that I've cried. I've actually just cried. And it just feels like something so foreign, something so unnatural and untrusting, almost like the air is not safe to breathe. And I think it's really important that we realize that the air is safe to breathe. Especially up here in Ulster County, we have great air. It's, to be able to breathe the air and not be afraid of it is something that we have to be conscious of right now. So to get from a place of total fear of touching people, touching surfaces, my husband went grocery shopping and he wanted to spray everything down afterwards, and I had to stop him because I don't want to eat the poison. I don't want to eat the sanitizer. I think that causes its own slew of health problems. But there's a very real element of fear that is pervading through our society, and if we're not careful with our children, in the way that we
or even ourselves.
Definitely, for sure, ourselves. And just in the way that we're watching the news. I know for myself, I had to stop looking at the news, or even just do it once a day or less, because it was just too intense and depressing, really, and really brings back that way of living in fear, feel all tight, and I don't even want to go outside, and I live on 26 acres. So it really is safe for me to go outside. Really is. But I have to sort of force myself and remind myself that it's okay. And in this time of the year too, when all of nature is waking up, all of the buds are blooming, and the green is coming back to the trees, and then when this is all just starting to wake up, we're being asked to stay home and watch Netflix, and that is so hard to do because it's counterintuitive, and it makes us not even trust our own biological rhythms. So to overcome that fear, I think that to realize what's going on with that is that all of these things have made impressions on our soul, deep impressions, and they continue to make impressions on our souls and a collective soul. And I've been really thinking deeply about how, for me, I work with children, so how I'm going to be able to help children when I am able to have them, in my class again. And we really have to call on something of the spiritual world to come and heal our souls and to take us away from the place of fear. For one, that's the first step, is to be able to breathe the air, be able to, when it's socially acceptable to touch and hug, and being able to do it not even tentatively, but wholeheartedly. That connecting with humanity is going to take some time for us to be able to accept again, and it's just so basic. So, I think we can get to the place of joy again, and of course we can do it quickly, but collectively it might take some time because there are many levels that we need to heal first. And the biggest one is that fear, fearing the air that we breathe, fearing the touch of another human being. And these are just basic, very, very basic instincts that we are holding at bay right now. So to overcome those, that's I think the real work that I'm going to be investigating as to how we can help heal the soul, and what what are the stars offering us? There's a big conjunction.
Star.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing I remember from Anthroposophy, from Rudolf Steiner. He talks about the stars are looking to us, not so much to see what we're doing, but how we're doing it. How are we interacting with people? How are we healing ourselves? How are we going about it? And and I think they're offering us something too. If we take the time to go outside and watch them, I think there's wisdom to be gained from the stars. And
yeah, I kind of felt it was in the stars on Sunday when we came out to the green to play, because Joe Elmo had posted on Facebook, the town supervisor said, you need permission from the church and you need permission from the town. And so Joe was going to go on the sidewalk, but there was nobody in the green, so we just sort of migrated there. Then Song of Solomon was playing. Do you know them?
I think I've seen them before, a reggae band, right?
They're so soulful, and it's sort of a Rasta Sunday service.
And they've been around for years, right?
Yeah,
and decades.
Yeah. And they were just, bringing it in from their, like you say, soul level. And it just, I guess it is just like spring coming. Things are waking up, and it just seemed so right.
Yeah.
And twice the police came by, and twice we just answered from our own authentic selves. And it's just an advisory. To stay inside is called self-quarantine. It means people have to make the choice to stay inside. Although there's all those scary images of, if you're not wearing a mask, you get arrested and this and that. But there's so many false arrests and people not knowing their rights. So
people are scared.
I was expecting a little more tension than there was, and I felt a real, I don't know if camaraderie, sympathy, simpatico, I guess you say, with the police themselves. Yeah. Because we're all in this together. And, when Joe said he chooses not to social distance, and somebody was complaining that we weren't social distancing or using masks, then Jay said, well, take our complaint to the governor, and our complaint is the opposite, is that, we're being forced to live in an environment of fear.
Yeah.
So it could go both ways, but I think feeling the soul, like you're talking about, is the most important.
I think also that, perhaps if, we can differentiate between the soul and the spirit. I mean, I think that, we don't really do that. Growing up Catholic, we didn't really differentiate, but I do think there's a difference. I think the soul life is a place where we, we feel things. It's like our feeling life, right? We feel it. And that's why I say that this has made such an impression on our soul, because we're feeling this deeply. But the spirit is something different. The spirit is something that doesn't come from just us. So I'm thinking about, like, a couple weeks ago is Easter. And of course, the Good Friday before Easter Sunday is the day that Jesus dies on the cross. And for me, it was like, oh gosh, it was seeing, some people who have died that week, not seeing them personally, but
mm-hmm.
just hearing about them. Mm-hmm. And then Jesus dying, and it was just all a little bit too much. It's also the time that I usually go to visit my father, and we didn't make our trip this year, right, to visit him because of the virus. And
is he in a rest home?
No, he lives in Florida, but we just decided not to, and he was glad, because there's all of the advisories, advising us to stay home. Right. So anyway, it was just feeling pretty sad, and when I'm not particularly religious, but on Good Friday, I just got so depressed. Jesus too? That's what I was thinking. Jesus too is dying. It just felt like too much, and I really went into this depression, and I let myself go into it because I needed to grieve. I needed to grieve, like my own program, is shut down. I don't have the children coming to me anymore. Usually in the spring, I start picking up gigs again and weddings, and I love it. And there is nothing on the horizon at all. And, and just not being able to see people, not being able to see my dad, my family. I needed to grieve. And I did. I let myself grieve. And what I found was that going deep into my own grief, I realized that there is something when I got down to the bottom of it, there was nothing more I could do. And I let it go. And something else came in and lifted me back up. And this space I think it takes that sometimes. I think it takes going deep into that place and saying, I do not have what it takes to overcome this by myself. And surrendering to that.
And I'm going to acknowledge it.
Yeah. I am acknowledging it, and here I am. I am, down on the ground, and I don't know what to do. And so I realized I can't do anything more. And then something else came in, and that's the spiritual world. I mean, that's the only way I can describe it. So that something else that is, because it's not from me. It wasn't me. It was something else. And I began to understand the whole, Easter, the, Golgotha mystery, that it's about
resurrection.
Yeah, and dying to ourself and rising and let something else come in to raise us up. And I think that could be what, if we make space for that, if we let ourselves grieve, then maybe even as a humanity we can usher in some kind, the spirit that we need for these times. So that's where I'm placing my stock. And that's what's keeping me, motivated and, keeping me, getting me up early in the morning and going about my day, is that I know that there is something else that is wanting to come in, and so I'm making that opening for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Veronica, you were talking about the parents wanting to learn the songs.
Yeah, that's the biggest request that I've had from the parents, is to give them the songs, recordings of the songs that we were singing in our group, and so when I did like a social distancing May Day, went to their homes and made flower crowns, and we sang and danced around the yard, and it was really wonderful to see the parents really participating so much with their children in a way that I can't say that I've seen before. They were really enthusiastic, and it was really wonderful. It was heartwarming to see them with their children in this way.
Well, that's a real perk of the whole otherwise tragic.
I'm telling you, young children like to be at home. They like to be with their parents. They like to play with their friends too. But I think that, we've sort of forgotten about what the young child needs. And we're waking up to it again.
But it sounds like the parents like to be with their children if they were dancing around.
Oh yeah, they were really enjoying it too.
So you weren't just teaching children.
Yeah, that might be true. And I don't want to pretend that it's going to be this way for all families, but certainly for the families in my program, it was definitely that way. It was really, really wonderful to see them with their children. Yeah.
What's the name of your school?
Maple Meadow.
Maple Meadow.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. You said you tried Zoom circles?
I did.
The little kids were a little...
I tried Zoom circles with the children, but for the small children, like the 2 and 3 year olds, I felt like it was an unrealistic expectation that we had of them to sit in front of the computer screen and participate. So so I decided to make audio recordings instead, where the parents could play them, when they felt the time was right, and they could still have, an imaginative experience, because it's just oral, it's not, visual.
And what have the parents said?
Oh, so far they've really liked the songs. I just recorded some of the May Day songs before I went to their house, but moving forward, I hope to do a whole monthly circle each month. Make it new songs that are that relate to nature and the seasons and festivals and just the passage of time, really. So yeah, going forward, that's what I hope to do to support the families.
How do you get in touch with you? How does one... Because they go, I like what Veronica's saying, and I'd like to ask her more or enroll my child when the time comes.
I have a website. It's called veronicaharp.com, and you can sign up there to be on my newsletter. And coming up, probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to have an option for subscribing to a monthly circle. So if you want to come for the songs every month, you can come and check them out and see if it's a good fit for you and your family.
Right. What do you think, Lyra? It's a good idea. Yeah.
She can shine no more.
she can shine no more. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I think I might be done. Thank you guys so much. That's pretty loud. Okay, I lied. They're still sitting there. I'm gonna play one more. Is that okay with you guys? Yeah. Is it okay if I play one more? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna cover this song. I'm gonna cover Alicia Keys. Woo!
Yeah, take a sip of your feet.
Yes, you know. All right. I just want you close, where you can stay forever, and you can be sure that it will only get better. Yeah. You and me together through the days and nights. I don't worry, 'cause everything's gonna be alright. People keep talking, they can say what they like. I don't worry, 'cause everything's gonna be alright. No one, no one, no one can get in the way of what I'm feeling. No one, no one, no one can get in the way of what I feel for you. For you, when the rains are falling down and my heart is hurting, you will be around. Of this I'm certain, Joe and Paula. You and me together through the days and nights. I don't worry, 'cause everything's gonna be alright. People keep talking, they can say what they like. I don't worry, 'cause everything's gonna be alright. No one, no one, no one can get in the way of what I'm feeling. No one, no one, no one can get in the way of what I feel for you. Can get in the way of what I feel for. I know some people search to find a love like what we have, and I know people would try to divide a love so real. But I'm telling you, till the end of time, there ain't no one, no one, no one, no can get in the way of what I'm feeling. No one, no one, no one can get in the way of what I feel for you. You can get in the way of what I feel for you. Happy birthday, Joe. You guys are awesome. Even stoned, I'm so flattered. Even stoned, you clap for me. Thank you so much.
I gotta take this.
Yeah, thanks.
John, do you know where that white mark here is?
Here it goes.
Why don't you sit on that drum stool?
What's that?
See it? Behind the
I'm a little rusty, huh?
Oh, the drum stool. We don't have a drummer. No drumming today, Joe.
No, in fact, we really don't want a drummer. We don't want a drummer appearing out of
Mark is saying this is going to be
okay, because right now, I gotta say, if there are only a couple chairs, I gotta say, I actually agree with this. If you work on this, I can work on anything. I just don't think I can stand up and hold my guitar for a whole set. Yeah, this will work fine. I can stand up and but it's just, having you play around. So, it starts Monday. I hope it works.
I did it blindfolded. Oh, and I left that. Where I was next to Veronica. Yes.
You guys use both of these?
Okay, yeah. Okay.
You don't know if
Hey.
Hello.
Hey. Check. Testing, 1, 2. Testing, that's good. No, well, he thinks that we get in the
Oh yeah. Here, I'll do it. Yeah, I know what I need. It'd be quicker than explaining it to you. 1, 2. Okay, this mic is incredibly basic, so that should be the first thing. This mic is incredibly basic, so that's the first thing we should fix. 1, 2.
John?
No, you can do it when you get back there, but whatever, take the low end off this mic like quite a bit, and then make all the other mics match.
Where's John?
John's back there.
John!
Hey, Joe. It sounded okay on her voice before she was far back there. We're going to be like this. It's going to be very good.
Take the bass down on the mic. John! Bring up 3 and 4 also. Are you going to be singing here?
I have talked to Phil.
Okay.
John!
All right, I'll choose the point.
John! We don't need 4.
Thank you.
Heads up. There.
Are you using an instrument? I liked your playing.
I didn't see it.
But it's very sensitive.
Well, hit the road now. Yes. Okay.
I'm not sure. I just plugged in. I will not play with this. I played on guitar before it's
Should have called Bodie. You know this thing that you just had last week, Janice? What? Kirk stock. What? Kirk stock. Kirk stock? Kirk stock. It was like 500 people. Just up the street from where you're playing at the post office.
500 people from the post office?
There's a big land there.
Oh yeah, they did
it last year. They did it,
Right. They did it last weekend, right? They're doing a parade. They're doing some kind of parade tomorrow. Yeah.
Bodie performed.
Oh really? And?
It was a big hit.
Oh.
I'm sitting there going like,
Alright.
are we listening to the same? It's like, he was like cussing and cursing and, you know, rap stuff. That was pretty funny. Okay. Let's see. Uh-oh, where'd I put the end of this cord?